G'day, this is Gary007 and welcome to my channel. If you like this sort of content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, leave a like and a thumbs up, that'd be awesome. So today we're going to talk about Primal Nethers within TBC. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. The way TBC Classic is going to be handled is there are 5 phases initially. So in the first phase we're going to get Karazhan Grill's Magtheridon. Second phase we will get Serpent Shine Cavern and Tempest Keep. The third phase will be Mount Hyjal and Blank Temple raids. The fourth phase will be Zulaman, and the fifth phase will be Sunwell raiding content that will come out to us. So Primal Nethers will be bind on pickup for the first 4 phases, and then on the 5th phase of release content that will be removed from the items, so that will be a tradable item to anybody within the game. So you're going to see a lot of Primal Nethers on the auction house come phase 5. So how do you get Primal Nethers within TBC? There's 3 ways essentially to get Primal Nethers. You have to run normal dungeons, you can run Black Morass, it's got a 5% drop chance to drop in there. Alcatraz got a 5% drop chance. Botanica, you got 5% chance. Mechana, 5% chance. You've got Shadow Labyrinth, 5% chance. You got Shekik Halls, which is a 2.5% chance to drop. Shattered Halls, you got a 5% chance. Steam Vaults, you got a 5% chance. Basically, off this level 70 dungeons, pretty much, you got a 5% chance across the board for a Primal Nether to drop. So that's a very rare drop in a 5-man dungeon, and that only comes off the final boss, so you only got a small drop chance off the final boss. Now on a heroic dungeon, if you were to do a heroic dungeon, it's a guaranteed drop off the final boss on a heroic. So whenever you run a heroic, you'll get a guaranteed drop chance for that item. Now the other way to get it is to buy it with badge gear. So you can buy this at the vendor. If you get 10 badges, Justice, you'll be able to trade that in and get a Primal Nether for it. It is very difficult to get Primal Nethers in TBC for a few factors, and that is because a lot of tanks are going to be reserving these items for themselves when you run these dungeons. So you have to be very careful about the groups that you're running dungeons with. If they've got reserved Primal Nether and you need one, don't run the dungeon with them, of course. Do not run the dungeon for them. The reason why tanks are getting them and why they're wanting them is because of their own crafting materials. So one example is the Deep Thunder, right? It's a craftable item. The Deep Thunder does 118.55 damage per second. It's a 3.8 weapon speed, 37 strength, 37 agility, 55 stamina, and the kicker, chance on hit, stuns the target for 4 seconds. This is the best in slot PvP weapon that you will get throughout the entirety of TBC. For a warrior, this is a must weapon to have. For a Retribution Paladin, it's a must if you like PvP as well. It is a really good weapon because it's slow, it does high damage, it's got a lot of strength, it's got a lot of agility, but that chance on stun is OP as hell. It is a really unique proc chance that this weapon has. So you're going to have Retribution Paladins chasing this down, and it requires 8 Primal Nethers as part of the ingredients to make. So you can imagine how many runs a tank will do to get this weapon. I'll give you another example, is the Dragon Maul. You're going to see them all over the place, this weapon. So this is another weapon that a tank will want to get. And it's got 91.11 damage per second, 2.7 attack speed, has 9 stamina, but the kicker here is the chance on hit is the proc rate increases your haste rating by 212 for 10 seconds. And you have 2 of them. So that means a warrior will want this weapon as well. And not just a warrior, just a side note, enhancement shamans will want this as well. This is probably one of their best in slot weapons, this Dragon Maul. It is a fantastic one-handed mace for warriors and enhancement shamans. And this requires 8 Primal Nethers to make. So now you can imagine you've got 2 weapons of choice for warriors and paladin tanks. Again, it's a free market. You do not have to join a group that has a reserved item on it. No one's forcing your hand. This is a player-driven economy, which is a really good thing at the end of the day. It's not something that's been forced. There is a reason why tanks would reserve an item, but not just tanks. You got DPS hunters that want to reserve the hourglass out of Black Morass, and that item on its own is a very hard item to get, and everybody's after that particular trinket because it's a really, really good trinket. There are also other items within dungeons that tanks will want to reserve, which is like foul armaments, which is a reputation item that you hand into the owl door. So there are various items within the game and other trinkets that get reserved on a regular basis by different classes, like DPS will reserve a particular item as well. So it's just not tanks I'm picking on or anything like that. All I'm saying is it's a free market, you can join it or not. Now the other side of it is the ethical side of it. Now the ethical side of it is that, well, it takes 5 people to clear a dungeon. We all should have the right to roll on the loot at the end of the day when it comes to Primal Nethers to make our own gear. If you don't need a Primal Nether and you made all your gear, it doesn't matter, you're just there for the badges, right? But it takes 5 people to run a dungeon. It takes a village to clear a dungeon, a heroic dungeon. No part is greater than the other at the end of the day. The other way to get around this is to join a guild and be on a rotation with your guild when it comes to Primal Nethers. Primal Nethers are so crucial for a lot of players, a lot of classes when it comes to their professions and getting their best in slot. So you'd want to join a guild and be on a rotation of some sorts, or some understanding with your guild in regards to who gets the Primal Nether drops in this particular run. Because you've got to remember, when you do a heroic dungeon, you can't reset it like a normal one and do it again. You're locked out of it for 24 hours. So that means you might do a ramparts and then you'll have to go over to slave pens or something. So just be aware that there is a lockout timer when it comes to heroic dungeons and trying to get Primal Nethers. And of course, the other option that we've talked about in this video is obviously going to a Badges of Justice vendor, handing in 10 Badges of Justice for 1 Primal Nether. Now, of course, you're probably thinking, oh, is it worth it or not handing in the Badges of Justice? I think it's worth doing as soon as possible. If you're struggling to get the Primal Nethers and runs and you're just not getting them, yes, hand in your Badges of Justice, get the Primal Nethers, get your set out of the way, and then you're set up for tier 5. The sooner you do it, the better. Then you can concentrate on filling in the rest of your shopping list with Badges of Justice, and then you'll be right for the rest of the content. So yeah, if you like this sort of content, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the whole topic. But yeah, alright then, bye.